Powers that be do not want a bunch of, I don't believe they want a bunch of entrepreneurs running around, because there's too much freedom in that. So to have a group of people, a society that is just good enough to be good test takers, to work for a company versus showing us how to do it ourselves and running a company. There's a handful of people that take it upon themselves, like, you know what, I'm going to figure out how to do this, and I applaud them for going into like entrepreneurial stuff. But like the concept of like the Matrix, where it's that you have to be married by 25, you have to be got to have kids by 30, you have to have so many $1 million, whatever that is, you know what I'm saying, instead of allowing you to just be who you are. And our society teaches us that, like, if we don't have these things, then we're not good enough. So there's pressure. That is how a man shows love to other men. He creates a brotherhood. He creates an environment where a man, knowing how difficult, and I'm not saying that women don't have it difficult. Like, let's not even talk about carrying a baby for 9 months and all that other things that goes into like not being seen as equal in the world, being male versus female, not being paid enough, get all of that. All I'm saying is that the world does not give a fuck about men's feelings. In my opinion, they do not. They do not. Like, they do not. Dogs, children, and women. Men, I don't know what to tell you, bro. How do you as a man behave when you feel unappreciated? There's two versions, man. There's a version of me that's gonna be there that's functional, depending on the relationship. Like if it's work, there's a version of me that's gonna be there that's just enough to get me by until I find something else that better appreciates me. And similar in certain relationships too. You know what I'm saying? But most cases, I just I'll walk away. I'll walk away without a moment's notice. Honestly, but when I do feel like I'm not appreciated, it is tough. It's tough, especially like if that relationship is family. You know what I mean? It can be challenging, but even then, yeah, I'll walk away from that shit too. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not going to allow family to be a label to be used as entitlement. When when the care that's being there towards you is not, it's not kosher, if you will. But when I'm not appreciated, let's say in the sense of like with a woman, I'm going to assess the situation first. I'm gonna pause, right? I'm gonna make sure it's not my inner child being sensitive, and I'm not going to gaslight myself by calling myself so sensitive about the situation, but I'm really going to examine how this individual is talking to me. Is she talking to me as if she values men, or is she talking to me as if men are an accessory? I mean, that's really, there's no in between that. You know what I mean? A woman either talks to you as if she values men, or she talks to you as if men are like an accessory and that, you know, men have no idea what they're doing unless a woman is involved. So whenever I'm around that type of shit, I get the fuck out of Dodge, to be honest. I don't fuck with, I honestly don't get down with women that feel that way. And I won't be around them too long, you know, well, let's just say that. When a woman carries herself in a manner as if she is here and men, or males rather, are here. I mean, that's fine. That's all well and good. That's right now. You know, I need you to understand that you might be the hottest thing right now, but your looks are going to fade and your attitude is going to remain. Now, pretty girls and women that work on their beauty can get away with some bullshit, but after a while, even that wears off. But understand, once you become the woman that nobody no longer catcalls when you walk by a construction site, and it will happen for you as you get older, that attitude is not going to be received very well by any potential suitor that is out there that you deem to be attractive. I need that to be understood. When I find myself in a situation where I don't feel appreciated by a woman, I will treat her the way she treats me, in all honesty. Because I mean, I love that quote. When a man first meets you, he treats you how you want to be treated, and then after that, he treats you how you treat him. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just the reality of it all, because we're groomed, we're wired to just give a woman the world, especially for us that were born with that blue pill beta shit in our mind and what TV programmed us to do. But once you get educated on having boundaries and love for yourself as a man, all that shit out the door, baby. All that shit is out the fucking door. So what we're gonna do is treat each other like we're human. I'm not gonna treat you like I'm better than you. You're not gonna treat me like you're better than me. We're gonna treat each other like we're human. And if we can do that, then peace can be had. But anytime I treat you or I act like I'm more than human, shit gets haywire. The alignment of the universe is off, and you can feel it in the energy. And it's like, you're not perfect. You're not perfect as a man, you're not perfect as a woman. But to be able to recognize yourself in your ways where you're the problem, when you're the one that's fucking up, that is growth. You know what I'm saying? But it's also up to that person to have those healthy boundaries and recognizing, like, yeah, I'm not going to tolerate such behavior. And there's much respect to that. And the same goes for, like I said, men dealing with women that don't appreciate them. I mean, some men, they'll be fine with it. They'll say, hey, it's just relationships. Relationships take work. Sure. That's what we're calling that. Enabling poor behavior. Yeah, that's part of the relationship. Yeah, that works very well. You're teaching people how to treat you is what you're doing. So, I mean, you can call it marriage. Yeah, marriage takes work. Relationship takes work. But valuing yourself, number one, has to be priority. Has to be priority. Everybody got their different set of boundaries. It's just, for me, respect. How a woman shows love for me is respecting me as a man. Respecting me enough to lead. Respecting me enough to trust that I can lead. Respecting me enough to ensure that anything goes down, that they're okay. Now, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. But don't stay there and show resentment because I don't have these traits. When you can leave, you can go. Abundance mindset, there's plenty of people in the world. There's 1 billion people in the world. You don't have to sit there in chaos, in pain, and project that pain onto me when you could be by yourself, healing, preparing yourself for the next blessing that comes along in your journey of life. But if you sit there and you complain, you really think the universe is going to reward you? You think God and his universe is going to reward you when you don't even appreciate what's there right now, when you don't have the gratitude for what is there, when you focus on what you don't have versus what you do? Why would the universe give you more than what you have? It's not like you're going to appreciate it more because you got more. No, I don't believe that's how it works. My perspective. But there's a version of there's a version of me when I feel unappreciated by, let's say, by a woman, When I feel unappreciated by a woman, I'm going to become a functional version of myself as I'm pondering how I'm going to leave this situation. Just enough to keep the ship afloat. I've been in it, I did it. I was in an off and on relationship for 4 years. 4 years. And I was people pleasing in that relationship. But there was a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff and there was no trust on either side, I promise you. In ways I'm not gonna dramatize it, but there was reasons to not be trustworthy on both sides. Let's just say that. And I contemplated, I pondered a lot. So I was a version of myself that was enough just to get us by. As a provider, that's what you do. You look after your family, you know what I'm saying? Even if it isn't your blood family, this is the family that you're tending to create. And I tried it, I attempted it. I didn't put forth the best effort, I won't lie. I didn't put forth the best effort. But a lot of stuff that was going down, I was like, I was too immature emotionally. So I'm like, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you the fuck back type shit. Not physically, but in a sense of, if I believe that you've done something wrong to me, mind you, me and my wounded inner child. If I feel like you've done something wrong to me, you best believe I'm plotting on your ass. Because this is how a child thinks. You know, I was in my child mind going through this. And it didn't do us any good. And it was the same thing on her end too. You know, it was back and forth, like battleship. C-14. You know, D-6-9. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we hit, sometimes we didn't. But it was just toxic all around. But we're both afraid to leave. But I know without a doubt that she felt not appreciated. I definitely felt not appreciated for a lot of the things that I was doing. But the biggest issue was communication. Communication, people pleasing, and not being honest about how we felt. Not being honest on things we did, for that matter, that got in the way of that. And I just, like I said, it was a lot of people pleasing, man. I was being the ultimate nice guy, and that's just not the way to do it. And I believe I've learned since then about doing such. I don't do anything I don't want to fucking do. And I won't commit to anything until it's on me. Because there's something serious that comes with that. And I've learned from that, and I'm doing my best to learn from that situation. But when I feel unappreciated, yeah, the moral of that story is I become a version of me that's just functional for us to get by. But as far as that feeling of like euphoria and like love, oh no. Al Bundy. Hey, how's work? Cool. I'm gonna sit here and watch TV. I'm gonna play my game, my beta tales. And definitely, even in the next relationship, I definitely felt not appreciated. And truth be told, the individual was not used to that type of love. Somebody really being head over heels over you the way that I was over her. And it was tough, man. It's tough, but it's on me because the idea of somebody, I went for the idea of somebody versus what they showed me. And the bubble was burst. The allure of this person, the allure of the relationship. Call it crazy enough, they say women are in love with love. I'm gonna tell you, I was in love with love, man. I was determined. And it wasn't right. It wasn't for me. The universe was showing me that this is not in alignment with your spirit right now. You're too far advanced to where you are and where she currently is, you know what I'm saying, as far as that goes. And there's parts of me that were very immature too, I won't lie about that. But as far as that, all right, let's figure this shit out. I'm going to love you. Like that's something I can stand by. With, you know, as far as showing love, I got that down. You'll know it if I show love to you. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel that. Energy won't ever lie to you as far as about love. I don't care what the fuck happens. That energy you feel in exchanges, whether that be through a text, whether that be in person, whether it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? The energy of somebody won't ever lie to you the way they, you know what I'm saying, feel about you. And that's the whole thing. I don't care what they're saying out their mouth. How do you feel in that realm when you're in that energy realm? That's, you know, that radius, that circle of radius, you know, that radius that when you're around a person. How do you feel? That energy, they know. You just know. Yeah, you just know. But when I'm unappreciated, I backs the fuck up and walk away for the most part. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and let you figure this shit out. No, we're not doing that. Not today. No, because you wouldn't wait for me. You wouldn't wait for me to figure it out. So yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, we just got some healing to do, but it's not my responsibility. It's on you. Just like my healing is on me. But when me as a man, when I feel unappreciated, like I said, I'm more inclined to walk away. I will give, like I said, I'll recognize some things. I'll take a pause. I'll think about it. But once my mind is set on the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm not appreciated in this setting. Yeah, I'd rather be alone. I'd rather be alone than sit in chaos. I stand by that. You know, I'm about my peace. I will protect my peace at all costs. But yeah, when I'm unappreciated, I get up and leave the table. What do you think is more important, an emotional connection or a physical connection? I believe they both have their importance. However, I do believe that the emotional connection is the kicker, the preference between it. Like, for those of us that have been sexually active in our lives and shit like that, done a lot of dating and whatnot, or married and all of this shit, we've had sex with people that we didn't feel shit for. And you can feel that. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing, you know? But when you're able to connect with a woman on a emotional, mental level, number one, because I'm going to examine what the fuck's going on in your head, because I'm going to be very mindful of what I'm bringing into my life. But once the mental's there, eventually the emotional side, you know, kicks in, recognizing how one feels for you, you know. The physical part, yeah, it's one thing, you know, but the emotional part, if it ain't there mentally and emotionally, then, you know, it's really not much there to it. But I say the emotional connection is definitely far greater to me than the physical connection, because it doesn't come, I don't think it comes by as often. You'd be surprised, man, like that energy. Women that operate in their masculine, when I didn't know any better, I was head over heels over them, because it felt like mom, you know, I'm finding home, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like my mom is here. And not necessarily in a healthy way, an effective way, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bringing me back to my codependent ways and her codependency, you know what I'm saying? So when that type of emotional connection was there, now I'm looking to a woman to lead. And I'm looking for direction from her, wondering why this feels awfully familiar. Because I'm recreating the household, you know what I'm saying? But to reprogram your mind and be very firm on the fact that you're going to lead. You're going to be the one to lead. And you're not going to date any woman that does not believe in a man leading, that does not trust a man to lead. It's amazing the difference that happens. I mean, it's repelled off a lot of women that are not comfortable. I won't necessarily say they don't like men that lead. They're just uncomfortable because it's new. You know what I'm saying? They've never seen that shit before. So it's different when a woman is being led by a man. And again, not every man knows how to lead. I pride myself on that. I make it a point every day to study that shit and figure out new ways to fucking lead. What that really means. What does it mean to understand emotions? You know what I mean? And how do you do this in a masculine way? it's more education. It doesn't necessarily mean we're talking about our feelings. It's me just understanding yours from understanding my own. Because if I can understand me, then I can understand you. Because there is no separation between us. You're just as human as I am. Anything I don't like is something about me that I don't like. And I'm just not facing it. That's the harsh truth, the mirror, and a couple of memes and psychology will tell you, you know what I mean? But to understand emotional education, right? When you're dating, can prevent so many fucking arguments, man. And it can stop you from going down that path too, because once you recognize, like, if she's very argumentative and you see she's just trying to be seen, heard, and loved, of course, you can make a choice. And I'm not doing that shit with you. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna leave. This shit is over. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But to sit there and engage in a pointless argument because the individual does not feel heard. Here's the deal. You don't have to yell at me because I'm listening to you. I'm gonna say that one more time. You do not have to yell at me because I'm listening to you. I see you. I do. I see you. What I want you to do is explain your emotions to me. We're gonna be calm about this. I need you to explain what's going on. And if you find me yelling at you, cut me off. Shut down, whatever it is that you gotta do. We're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to go to intermission or something like that. But I don't believe it's healthy to do it. I'd be lying if I said I haven't done that before and I didn't have the tendency to do it, because this is what I saw. This is how I survived. But learning new things is learning to have healthy boundaries with one another. So when I tell you that an emotional connection is far more important to me than the physical one, don't get me wrong, that physical is important for sure. That matters too, because there's some women that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're too old to not know what the fuck they're doing. That's one thing right there. But from an emotional standpoint, emotional connection, to have that with the woman, as well as the physical and then even the mental, you're talking about a sense of dopamine, of euphoria, a sense of peace that you've probably not even thought about. You really just have to live in that present moment with that individual for as long as it lasts, because nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. But take each day one day at a time. But the emotional connection allows you to feel connected to this individual. Miles away, within the same state, same city, no matter where they are, no matter how far, as Diana Ross says, other side of the world, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Other side of life, where that person has passed away. The emotional connection, you know what I'm saying, that is just there. It's hard to explain in words at times. And when you have that emotional connection, you feel it. Either the strongest man, the hardest man knows that emotional connection that he has with that particular woman. You know what I mean? And he might not express it as much as a more, I would say, not softer guy, but a guy that's very comfortable using his feminine energy and expressing his emotions in that manner. But trust and believe, he feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he feels it. And that's the thing. You're not like that. I believe that's what Earth, Wind, and Fire was talking about. You can't hide love. You know what I mean? The emotional connection that you feel. The way you feel when they're around. The way you feel when they're gone, you know? Like, you feel like they give you energy versus being drained when they're around. After they leave, you don't feel drained. You know what I'm saying? You feel like a sense of peace. You feel that there's a sense of recharge, a reset. And when you have that, be grateful. Be grateful, because there's no telling how long we're going to be here, how long this thing is going to last. You know, we have no idea about tomorrow. The only thing we have is the present moment and today. And to be grateful for that. You know, life will teach us more and more that way. We can have plans, we can have goals and all that stuff, but the only thing that matters is the present moment. That's all we really have. Everything else is in our mind. The past is in our mind now. What we believe happened in the past and our ideas for the future, that's all in the mind. I mean, that's great because imagination is how things were created. There was an idea that you could make electricity. There was an idea that you can make a stoplight. There was an idea that you can make peanut butter. There was an idea that you can wear clothes like this versus that caveman shit that we used to wear. Everything started as an idea, an imagination, you know? So, I mean, imagination is great, especially for that physical connection. But in all seriousness, but that emotional connection is definitely something that is valued by me, you know, like to have that and to understand that nothing belongs to you, and understanding that love is about appreciation, right? So when that comes along, that feeling, I'm sure we've all had feelings of euphoria and dopamine from people that we met in life. Some people that are no longer with us, and like things happen, the reason why it ended, but you tend to hold on to that emotional connection from the past. But life has a way of reeling your ass back in. Be like, damn, man, I wonder what they up to. I really, you know, I like how it was between us. And like, oh shit, yeah, I remember. This is exactly why the fuck, you know, we stopped being in contact because of this or whatever. Because it's like recognizing your spirit, you evolve. I mean, it's okay to remember certain moments in life, but understand that you've outgrown it. You've outgrown it. I believe a lot of us do. I believe we outgrow a lot of things, and of course you'll miss things. But understand that moment was for that moment. It's like high school. You look crazy as shit, 40 years old trying to get back into high school. You know what I'm saying? Or 35, whatever your fucking age is. But it was for its moment. For those of us who enjoyed high school, there's a lot of us that did not enjoy that motherfucker. But for those of us who enjoyed certain moments in high school, that was it. For that moment, that present moment, we lived in it, we did it, we did things, we thought things that we don't think now, and that's what it was. And that's really all life is to me. But those emotional connections will keep you connected to that moment. And it's something we can appreciate. Everybody that you've been with, everybody that you talk to has prepared you for the present moment. Thank them. Be grateful, because they taught you a lot. Especially while you're not with them now. Yeah, especially while you're not with them now. You know what I mean? So just be grateful for everything that happens. You change one thing, you change everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So with that being said, the emotional connection or the physical connection, definitely the emotional connection. Also that mental connection. To me, the mental connection goes hand in hand with the emotional connection. But between the two, emotional and physical, definitely the emotional connection is far more important to me. Do you like text? Do you prefer texting or talking on the phone? To be honest, it depends on the person. In all honesty, I'm long-winded, so a lot of times texting is probably convenient at times because I'm either really, really quiet or I'm long-winded. I know that enough about me. There's not really no in-between with me. Because if I'm quiet, I'm listening. I'm observing my surroundings. I'm observing you talking to me. I'm learning how to love you as you talk to me, because that's what listening does. Listening is part of love, is learning to listen and observe when people are talking to you so that you don't talk over them in hopes that they don't talk over your ass. But talking on the phone, like I said, it depends who it is. If you know how to create conversation, and if you're open-minded and you know how to have open-minded conversation, that conversation is nonstop. If you talk like in right or wrong, and like you're trying to prove yourself right and me wrong, that conversation is not going to last that long. But when we speak from perspective, the conversation is endless. You know what I'm saying? It's a healthy, open-minded conversation. And I tend to not want to talk to people that like are right and wrong. It's an insecurity to me, that people that want to prove themselves to be right. I'm okay with not being right. I'm all right with my perspective. You know what I'm saying? My perspective may not be yours, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you have, but this is mine. But texting or talking on the phone, like I said, it really depends on the person. I know family members, sometimes when we talk on the phone, they hog it. They tend to hog the conversation. So, if it's, like I said, I know that this conversation is more for them than it is for me, I'll listen and I'll just ask key questions to get them talking. Because if I know that they're not aware of what they're doing, then I'm going to allow them to have their moment so that they can feel seen, heard, and loved. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm secure with me. I don't need any validation from them. You know what I'm saying? But if I can help out, family or anybody that I know that is in that predicament where they can tend to over talk people and not allow them to speak and get their side in and word in edgewise, as they say, then okay, cool. Then that's just what it is. But for the most part, between texting and talking on the phone, I love a great healing conversation over the phone, but texting becomes convenient. How do you believe men show love to other men? Okay. How men show love to other men, allow them to cry in front of us with no judgment. When they're concerned about I'm not good enough of a father to my kids. Did I do everything that I could? Did I spend too much time at work? They're allowed to be vulnerable without judgment, as it tends to come from a lot of women. You know what I'm saying? Like, for a man to be 100% authentically vulnerable with the woman, he will be crucified. He will be judged for it in some way, shape, or form. That's why brotherhood is so essential. And that is how a man shows love to other men. He creates a brotherhood. He creates an environment where a man, knowing how difficult, and I'm not saying that women don't have it difficult. Like, let's not even talk about carrying a baby for 9 months and all that other things that goes into like not being seen as equal in the world, being male versus female, not being paid enough, get all of that. All I'm saying is that the world does not give a fuck about men's feelings, in my opinion. They do not. They do not. Like, they do not. Dogs, children, and women. Men, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. However, I'm not saying all women feel that way, but it's a good chunk. It's definitely a good chunk. But what a man can do for other men is allow them to be vulnerable, remind them of who they are and what they're not, and then push their ass to get back in that ring and go in for round 2, round 3, round 4, whatever it takes to get the knockout to the next goal. That's how men show love to other men. That's how I show love to the men that I know in my life. When they come to me in a shell of themselves, when they get tapped into their ego and they forget who the fuck they are, I'm gonna remind you. I'm gonna be the change I want to see. I would want somebody to do the same thing for me. Those times when I listen to my inner critic, which is not even my voice, it's just something from the past. But when I tap into my inner critic and I'm overly critical about myself, regardless of all the things I've done, I focus on the things I did not do. Perfectionist, right? But when I'm able to separate myself from my ego and remember who I am and what I'm not. Simple as that. and remembering to be your own best friend. So once I do that, I'm able to be a brother. Fuck a friend. I'm able to be a brother to these men that I have in my brotherhood. Honesty, being honest with one another, understanding masculinity is essential. And not, like I said, it's a very big difference for men that are very much groomed to like cater to women. And I know some men believe that that's what women want. That most women want, some women want, whatever your statistics are. We've been sadly misguided from somebody who lived their life to try to appease their mother, their daughter, the girlfriends they saw, everything. When I tell you that what I was displaying was actually signs of weakness, desperation. And that's not attractive to the feminine. The feminine is attracted, from my understanding, attracted to men who lead. Men who can be honest about what they feel, but they don't do it in a emotional way. They are able to express their emotions in a masculine way. Now, as far as us men, some of us aren't privy to that because we weren't taught how to deal with our emotions early on. So when you're educated on emotional intelligence, when you're educated on psychology, when you're educated on understanding mental health and things like that, you can now share that with your brother and put that in a way that people where we come from can understand that shit. And once you do that, things change. Like, I believe anger, sadness comes from not understanding things. When we feel a sense of, I gotta know what this means, and when I don't know what this means, I get frustrated. The more we understand something, the less angry we become, And it doesn't mean that we're getting the answers that we want to hear. But to get an understanding of something will definitely put you in a position to where you can function again. You can go out, all right, this is what's set before me. These are the obstacles. This is how I have to defeat this obstacle. My brain is going to try to figure out whatever it is that I'm doing. That's what the brain is designed to do, to solve fucking problems. That's why anxiety is what it is. Our brain is constantly trying to solve fucking issues. Even when issues are not there. It's just wired to solve shit. So when you have that brotherhood comes together. We can sit there. You can let you have your moment. Okay, she broke your heart. You fucked up. And now you lost your family. Okay? It's okay to feel these emotions. Now what are you going to do about it? How are we going to get you back in the ring? How are we going to get you ready for the next fight? Don't fight the last battle. Get ready for the next fight. And I think that's how men show love to other men. How I show love to other men is by, again, allowing to have that safe space. Safe space to show the emotional side that's not accepted by society so that you can go out and perform to the best of your ability as a leader. To me, that's the one of the best loves I could get from a man, is to show me that I'm not alone, in a sense. And it's all right to be alone. But it feels good to know that you're not the only man that has thought about, am I good enough? To know this, to feel this, to understand this, and then to go out and perform regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough. It's tough. It's like entertainers, I'm sure they deal with returns, people that people that have died in their family, but they have to go out and perform. They have to go out and perform for these people in order to get this particular type of love from them. You start canceling tours, you start not showing up, then people stop being so supportive. And I believe this works that way for men. Got to show up to perform. I'm not saying that you don't show any signs of weakness, but don't show a lot of it. That's what I recommend. I recommend that for any man. Dead ass. Learning to manage your emotions, but having that brotherhood, man. I'm not able to stress it enough how it saves lives, prevents men from wanting to commit suicide. As somebody who thought about it at one point, a few times in life, of ending my own life, because I just felt like I was not seen, heard, and loved. I just wasn't. It felt like nothing I did mattered. It didn't matter how hard I tried to go for the family or for the girl I was seeing, whatever it was. I didn't love myself enough. So it's like, I'm going to get validation from the external versus the internal. And that's where I fucked up. That's where I had to learn. Because if I'm giving my value to what's outside of me, then I'm a slave. But had I had that brotherhood back then, the one that we're kind of establishing right now amongst me and my brothers, like, it'd have been much helpful. I'm grateful that I was able to make it through without having the established brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? There were plenty of guys that were there and they didn't even know it when I was going through that shit. Right? And there's a guy out there right now that is feeling like he's giving his best, and it's just not enough for the entitled motherfuckers in his life, be it his wife or his husband, their kids, whatever it is, and he doesn't feel like he have anywhere to turn to. He's just suffering in silence, right? But when you create that brotherhood, let me tell you, man, it's healing. It's healing, and we ain't about no bullshit though. No, we're not just gonna we're not gonna excuse your fuck ups. We're not gonna enable your fuck up behavior. We're gonna hold you accountable, but we're gonna get you back in that ring. Because to me, that's what love is. That's the respect that I have for you as a man. I'm not going to just, nah, you really simping. You simping over her right now, bro. That's what you're doing. Yeah, you simping. Like, check yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't show desperation to anybody. I don't give a fuck who that is. You can be, like I said, you can show your weaknesses with us in this brotherhood, and we're gonna train. This is like combat sport. We're going to train our emotions. We're going to train our brain. We're going to train the muscle in here. This is what we're doing here. But I'm not going to let you go out there and I'm not going to enable your behavior to do fuck shit, especially if it's tearing down others. You know what I mean? That's not what we're built on. What we're trying to do, what we're doing, not even trying to do, what we're doing is being honest with ourselves, understanding the lifestyles that we're living, and taking the consequences that come with that. And that's really all anybody can do. So, but with that brotherhood, you're able to discuss things that you wouldn't commonly discuss with some of the people that are not comfortable talking about emotions. But it's something to be grateful for. It's definitely something to be grateful for, which I am. Very grateful for the brotherhood that I've created, amongst my brothers. Very grateful for the military bringing me these guys into my life. And even the ones I grew up with, from middle school, high school, whenever I come home to Suffolk, shout out to Suffolk, Virginia, 757. Love you always. You know what I'm saying? I'll carry you with me everywhere. Can't escape it. But when I come home and we're able to talk about life, about what we're doing, personal life, social life, work life, all of that, and we allow each other to express one another how they feel without judgment. Don't get me wrong, if some shit is funny, we gonna laugh at each other. We laugh with each other, not at each other. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. But to understand what it means to be masculine, and understand what it means to have the frame, and when you know that your frame is off, then you check it. That's what men do. That's how men do it. And that's how to me, that's how I show love to other men, is the brotherhood. Giving men a place, the men in my life, that I've known and grown to love all these years. They've taught me how to love them. I didn't know it at first. It took me a while to understand being taught how to love somebody and teaching somebody how to love you. But now that they've taught me how to love them, I'm able to contribute to having a place, because they've been a part of it just as much as for me, but contributing to the brotherhood, the place where we're allowed to share these thoughts that we have in our mind without judgment so that we can be stronger men for our families, for ourselves, number one, and then for our families, and of course, society as a whole. Brothers in the brotherhood, I love y'all. When y'all watch this, and y'all know how we get down. And we're gonna be better for it. We're gonna be best for it. That's it. Good night, kids. When you want to run away, what are you escaping? Responsibility, failure, shame, guilt, everything that is meant to make you feel like you're not lovable. In short, all those things come to mind, and it's like, I wasn't good enough. I have to prove myself. You know, when you believe that you're loved conditionally, this is the trap that you find yourself into. I have to be this in order to get this. So let me go through these checkpoints so that I can get to the main goal. So I can jump over, like walk up the bricks, roll down the pole, go into the castle and get the princess. That's the only way I'm gonna get the love. I gotta go through hoops and shit. That's what I have to do. That's my Mario Brothers reference for those who don't know, or if I'm showing my age. But yeah, that's what we had to do. We had to climb the fucking bricks, jump off the bricks, land down on the flag. We tried to get the flag as high as we could so we can get the points. I don't really think the points really mattered. But once you go through that, you go through the castle, and then you go and get the princess that's over there. But with that being said, yeah, running from responsibility. Scary. Especially when you're not allowed to when you feel like you're not allowed to make mistakes. But mistakes is where growth is. Mistakes show that you're trying. But when you're not taught that at a young age, when it's like you gotta get this right, or man, move out the way, you don't know what you're doing, type shit. Those were things that were said to me, as a kid. So when you're trying to do things, you got this sense of anxiety. I have to do this right, or I'm gonna get pushed out the way. Or I'm gonna get shunned. I'm gonna be neglected. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's what those individuals meant to do then. I don't think, they're not aware of this, but this is the effect that it had on my mental, is how I interpreted it at the time. It's like trying to be seen. That's all since we're kids, we all been trying to be seen, heard, and loved. So when there's an opportunity that the stakes are high based off how we're looking at it, everything is not what it seems to be in our mind. It's worse in our minds than it is in reality. But to put things on a pedestal and not taking things one at a time, trying to eat the whole damn sandwich instead of one bite at a time. You're trying to swallow the whole sandwich instead of taking one bite at a time. It can be overwhelming. Yeah, it can be very overwhelming. And when it gets overwhelming, fear comes in. Oh, no, I can't do this. I'm not able to do this. I'm not strong enough. But don't listen to yourself. That's why Don Miguel Ruiz talks about in The Mastery of Love and Voice of Knowledge, don't believe the lies. And don't believe anyone else's. Is it true that you're not strong enough? Because you're doing it. You just have to do it. It's like that first time doing something. The first time doing it, you're not going to have as much confidence. But once you go through, oh, that's not that bad. Okay, cool. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll drive the car again. It's tough. I got driver's ed today. I'm afraid I'm going on the highway. Man, that wasn't so bad. I'm going to drive again on the highway tomorrow. Like, it gets smaller. Fear gets smaller as you face it. But you don't know that when your support system is a little hazy, it causes you to feel like it's you against the world, which is all ego talk. Ego is, I'm on top of the world and the world's on top of me. But when you trust the universe, when you trust God, you trust that energy of uncomfortableness that comes when you're doing something that's new to you, you'd be surprised what you're able to do. And I look at that, the course of the last 5 years, I've had the luxury of learning masculinity. And like I've said, when I was a kid, the stuff I'm learning, I'm doing now, if you told me that I could do this, I'd laugh at you. I'd be afraid. And then also helping some of your friends, you know, that felt the need to operate in their masculine, to recognize what it meant to be in their feminine. Like, be more aware of that, and to know that they feel more comfortable operating in their feminine around a man that operates in his masculine, of course. But to know that they feel aligned with the universe, the fact that they can do that, you know. And at first it's not easy, because you have to protect yourself. That's really all we try to do, because we don't know who the fuck is who. We don't know the good guys from the bad guys out here. So everybody is trying to protect themselves one way or another. Some do it more fucked up ways than others, but for the most part, we're just trying to protect ourselves. We're trying to avoid pain. We're trying to run from the lesson. And pain is the lesson. It is. Pain is the lesson. There's no getting around it. And so, yeah, that's where I go. That's why when I try to escape, when I try to leave, I run from being known as a failure, being known as a fuck up, being known as I wasn't able to achieve the goal. But it's worth it. The attempt is worth it. All in all. Effort over reward. That's how you kill the ego. Effort over reward. And I'm grateful, very grateful for the abilities to try things that I've never tried before, things I'm scared to, things I felt I was scared to do, and then some things I found out that I can do very well, pick up very fast. Other things that took time, you know, and that's the beauty of taking a fucking risk, right? And you gotta be choosy with your risks that you decide to take, because they all come with consequences, you know. But to have that courage, to know that you put your mind to something, that you can do it, it's motivation like a motherfucker. It's inspiring like a motherfucker. You can inspire a group of people just from sharing your story, just from opening your mouth, just from showing insight, showing people that you're just as human as they are, and that it's enough out here for us to grab. There's enough success out here for us to grab. And you define that success, you know what I'm saying? It's not like success looks like this type thing. I know TV likes to program us that, but what is successful to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really all that matters. If you want it to be a home, like a housewife, guess what? You're a success. If you wanted to be a teacher, you're a success. If you wanted to go to the military, you're a success. These are, it's different. The pays are different, you know what I'm saying? But is your success defined by your pay? That's up to you. You know, it's truly up to you on deciding that. But yeah, running never, it'll be waiting for me when I get back. That's one thing I do know. I've tried to run from a lot of things in my life, and it was waiting for me when I got the fuck back. It's sometimes bigger than it was if I'd have dealt with it, you know. But nevertheless, it taught me a lot, and I had to face the music on a lot of things. I'm still facing the music on a lot of things, and I'll figure that out. But yeah, when I want to escape, I'm running away from responsibility, guilt, shame, not being lovable.